too much.
So nervous.
Which country? Just
This
so
was
we get
in
the culture.
England.
Yes,
In England.
okay.
And so I literally spent the rest of the round just trying to, stay in the moment. And you don't want to try and hang on to a good score, as you probably all know. You don't want to just protect that round. You can't do that. So I just tried to stay focused and play one shot at a time and hang in there as best I could. And so my mental skills really. You can imagine being 6 ahead. There's a lot you could lose, and it's all about. Or you could let your thinking go. Oh, this is going to be embarrassing if I lose now. So you can't. You just got to. And I just kind of played mental games with myself the whole way around, and I managed to hang on and win by 2.
So after you were 6 ahead.
Yeah.
So you were playing what, the 5th or 4th?
The third, from the third on, I was 6 ahead.
So you still had.
So 16 holes to go. Yeah.
So did you say if I just stay into a par?
Well, no, I didn't.
Do I have to get
one shot at a time? No, I don't think you can think about your score.
Okay.
I think you got to just play one shot at a time. Right. Focus on the next shot. The next shot. Exactly. Right, that's right. I think when you start thinking about your score. When you're standing on that podium in your mind before you've actually won, that doesn't work, does it? No. Exactly. So Dennise, what about you? Tell us about why you think. Well, Dennise won twice in a row on the European Tour. She won in. What was the?
And that's amazing, isn't it? Twice in
a row.
Yeah, and that does it. A couple of years ago, who was it? Won twice in a row, and she got a lot of publicity. But I'd already done
We were
that.
pre-publicity.
We were pre-publicity before Facebook or any of that stuff. What was your question?
Well, what do you think set you apart?
So which country were you playing?
What's that?
When you were playing some big tournament and you got to 9 holes and you were 5 under or whatever it is, and
7.
you started. Oh, sorry.
I told the story to my students.
You were 7 under.
Every time she tells it,
I was
it goes
7
up by
under.
2.
When you started thinking about.
I'm not going to tell that story. I'm going to tell that story maybe. But what I'm going to say is, what happened to me, I learned to choke. I learned to.
Everybody learns to.
I learned to choke before I won on the European Tour. So I was lucky enough that I'm diverging here a little bit. Two points I want to get across to you is I think I only did really well on the tour, and I did do quite well, didn't I, for a short space of time. I did very well on the tour because I took all the stress out of my life. So I took all the stress out. And the second reason I won on the European Tour was because I learned how to lose. So I think that's really important. So
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so I learned how to lose because the first tournament I ever played as a professional, I won, which was the Australian LPGA, which got me a trip to Europe and got me onto the European Tour. And I won a reasonable amount of money, which I put into the stock market and lost it all. It was a shame. I hate that.
But she'd won 2 air tickets to get over there.
Yeah, so part of the prize was 2 air tickets for my husband. Well, he wasn't my fiancé at the time. So we went over there. But to answer the question, so I won my first thing, and people go, oh, that's quite amazing. But it wasn't really, because I played for Australia, so I kind of was used to it. But I think I only won because playing tournament golf was not my priority. Playing tournament golf, this is how I took the pressure off myself, was I wanted to teach golf and nothing else. I just wanted to teach. And so, like, to me, I'd be going, oh, I can go to Europe. It's like a tax deduction. I remember I'd say to John, he'd go, oh, we can go to Europe, we can stay here, we can do this, we can do that. It's all a tax deduction. He goes, Dennise, you got to kind of earn money before it becomes a tax. You have to earn money before it. So I took the pressure off because playing was not my main priority. And my friends say, I'm so glad that they say, oh, it's good that you weren't that serious about your golf, because if you were, you would have beaten us all. You know what? I think if I was, I wouldn't have. because I think it just
you're relaxed.
relaxed, so it wasn't my main priority.
But it's like when you fail, when you're about to have in your mind, you're having such a great round, you're about to have 45 points, and then you stuff up the last 3 holes. That's exactly the same at a different level. You have to learn to get outside your comfort zone.
And when you're, so many people just constantly tell you where you're at.
I know.
It drives me bonkers.
But Michelle, that's on you. You have to learn to not hear it. You can't say, right, I want everybody here not to say anything to me when I'm. You can't.
You're having a cracking round.
But you have to learn how to not hear that. You can't control what everyone's doing.
Annie, I got a fine on the European tour. You know how good I was?
What you're doing. Everyone gets
But Michelle, you have to learn to deal with that. That's you to deal with.
Pay the fine is my thing. I paid the fine because I did not want to know what my score was. John would always tell we didn't have those the radio stuff that radios are back then. So every 3 holes, a nice little lady who was a volunteer would say, "And what's your score?" And I'm like, "Oh, what? I don't want to tell you my score."
Why?
I was horrible. I wasn't horrible. I was a nice person. I would say to John, "You just talk to them. You talk to them. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I don't want to know what my score is. I know if I'm good or bad." And so one time I got a fine because I said to this little lady, and I'm a really nice person. I said to this little lady,
They know, do.
Talk to my shadow. I didn't say that.
Did you really?
Yes, I did say that. I didn't say talk to my shadow. She said, "What's your score? I need to get your score." And I'm like, "Talk to my caddy." I don't. Sorry, thank you, but no, I don't. I just didn't.
Fined for that?
Yeah, I got fined.
Why?
Oh, because you wouldn't give your score in.
Because I wouldn't give my score in.
Oh.
John did.
But what do we do?
You have to, it's like any distraction. It's like rain, noisy playing partners. You have to learn to shut that out because you can't control a lot of things. You can't control, and if you let that bother you, your game's going out the window. So you might as well.
You know what you can say, and you have to be a pretty F off.
No, because then the next player that comes along, you can't tell everybody that.
Yes, you could. No, I think you could just say to people, I don't know why we don't. Why don't we have the guts to say to people?
Because there'll be a new person the next week that does the same thing. You can't keep telling people every week.
Did you notice that?
It's like any distraction that you have to learn to,
find a
zone
way
out
to
and
cope
focus.
with it.
Yeah.
Find a way to cope.
And I'll give you a tip on that. I played in the NC. So I went to college golf in America, and I played. We had the end of the year thing was the NCAA's, which was a huge. They've got it in every sport in America. It's huge, and our team was doing really, really well. And I was on the last day. I was playing in the last group. I was doing really well. Hi, Amanda. And I had to play with the #1 college golfer in the country at the time. Her name was Dottie Pepper. She now commentates for the men's tour. You probably would have heard Dottie Pepper. She's not a nice person at all. And so she and I were in the last group together. She wasn't happy about the fact that I was doing really well. So she decided that she was going to stand. So I was putting. She decided she was going to stand about this far away from me for the whole day. And I'd never experienced anything like it. And it was a bit like, oh, okay. And I know my personality. If I said something to her, that would upset me, and my game would go. So I thought, okay, the closer you stand, the more determined I'm going to be to hold this putt. And I beat her that day.
Oh.
And she's that was an amazing win.
Yeah,
That was good.
she was the #1 player in college golf in America at the time. And I beat her by 1 shot that day. And I just thought that the more you stand there, the more I'm going to make sure I hold the putt. It was almost like a determination thing. So you can kind of use it to your advantage, The more it rains, the more relaxed I'm going to be. The more that person over there talks or whatever, and because...
They do that with the rugby league. It's interesting, the more somebody boos, the more likely
yes,
they are to make
use
it.
it as a... Because you can't control all these things.
There are things in golf you can control and things you can't. So you have to say, what can I control? Can't really control my golf swing totally. Hate to tell you, but it's true.
Even the pros.
You can control your posture, you can control your grip, you can control the club you take out of it, you can control your reaction to what's happening. You can't control how annoying the person is that you're playing with. You can't control the weather. You can't control the bad kicks. So it's like, suck it up and move on.
Golf is very much a game, isn't it, of
Yeah.
kicks?
It's
and
life.
bad
It's
luck.
life. Sometimes we get really bad kicks and we go, okay, it's how I react to that bad kick.
That's right.
It's
And,
not what
and if
happens.
it's raining or slow or people talking, you think to yourself, I'm going to handle this better than anybody else today in the field. Everyone's got the same situation, but I'm going to handle it better than anybody else.
It's not how bad it is, it's how you deal with it.
Yes.
How well you deal with it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Almost use it as a way of spurring yourself on to think, like, this is an advantage because I handle this better than everybody.
And it's a bit like, if you practice, I remember when I was younger, growing up in Glennis, which was freezing cold and rained a lot, I used to practice in the wet. So I'd have the drips coming off my cap and everything. Seriously, you would practice so that when the weather was bad, I loved it.
Yeah.
No, but not only that, I knew the others would be whinging a lot, and I'd be like, yes, there's 50% of the field gone, I only have to beat this other 50%.
You
Not
probably know from
competitive,
the
but
people you
true.
play with, there's a lot of whingy people, isn't there? You don't have to be that person.
So, you know, the choking, I think we,
That's right.
yeah, we all have to learn, as Annie did and I did. I learned on the European tour how to choke. I actually didn't see it until, I would say it was probably, they had that Foxtel stuff that came back like 3 weeks later, you know, where they put it on, not Foxtel, some whatever they had in those days, delayed TV coverage.
Newsreel.
I don't know.
Isn't that from the 50s? wasn't it?
Whatever it was.
We went
Anyway,
back.
it was some sport thing, and I saw myself hyperventilating on the golf course. So to set the scene, it was in Germany. It was the BMW. I was teeing off in the last group, and that's when I had the 7 in 8 holes. I'd had 7 birdies. I'd shot to the front. I had no idea. I just knew I was doing really great. It was like, birdie, birdie. I see it in it goes. And then John, my husband, ex-husband, said, Dee, you're doing really great. You're in the lead now by 4 shots. But you know what I did? It was very valuable. I was like, please don't tell me because I didn't even know. So my thing was, all of a sudden I was like, I'm in the lead. Oh, this is nice. I wish I didn't know. I started going shopping. I was making my speech. I was like so far ahead, and then I zapped into, now, okay, unlike Annie, what I did was, because I had to learn, I went, oh my God, let's just get a par. So all I was doing before was birdies, and now it's let's get a par,
That's the big lesson.
Don't
change anything.
I changed everything, and then the people, I remember them, they were saying, the crowd in Germany was building up, and they were following me now, and I'm like, oh God, and I could see them, I could feel them going, we're following her, she's like on bogey again, bogey, double, and I'm there, and quite seriously, I remember this day, I was like, could an earthquake happen in Germany? I'd like an earthquake to happen, and I can fall in, and crowd can come over, and I can just hide. And then John said to me, well, you're just blowing it now, you're blowing it, and I'm like,
no wonder you divorced him.
you're blowing it, and I'm like, yeah, I am, and then he annoyed me so much that I then went, I'm just going back. I'm going back to the present moment. So all of a sudden I went back to the present moment. I wasn't spending it. I wasn't feeling like I wanted an earthquake. I wanted the world to end. I wanted everyone to disappear. I went one shot at a time. So the last 3 holes I went birdie, birdie, par to lose by a shot to Murray Law de Lorenzi. It was the best lesson.
Yeah, good.
She gave me the bottle of champagne too. Sorry for
So if you're having the round of your life, the key is
stay in the present.
Stay in the present, but also keep doing what got you there.
Yes.
Don't suddenly go, okay, if I have 2 points on the last 4 holes, I'm going to have 45, and all of a sudden you want to protect it, that's not going to work. So you've got to keep thinking the same way you thought before. You know, go for the 3-pointers and think positively. And
Play your game.
when I had my 63, which was a tour record at the time, so it was the lowest round anyone had ever had on the European tour, and I was anyone at the time on the ladies European tour. It was a tour record, so I was playing the absolute round of my life. Every putt I looked at was going in. It was just ridiculous. And I had about, as I was going along, I knew I was just having this ridiculously good round. And I kept saying to myself, just get another birdie, just in case. We'll get another birdie, just in case. That'll be a buffer, just in case. Because this is not going to keep going. Or we'll just get another birdie. And I kept thinking, another birdie, another birdie. And next thing I'm having all these birdies, you know, and then next thing I've had an amazing round. So when you're, you know, having this round of your life, because everybody does it, you know, everyone gets out of their comfort zone, then keep trying to do what got you there. Go for another three-pointer and another three-pointer. Yeah.
I think if I may interrupt, I think the important thing is to be who you are. So some of us are very attacking and some of us might not be quite as attacking. So I think try not to be anyone else but you. So for me, and I'm not sure with any, but for me, I perform much better when there's no stress. I perform much better. Like some people burn all the bridges behind them.
What do you mean by that?
Good question.
Do you want to know what she means by that?
No.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. When I turned pro, I didn't turn pro until I had a career behind me. So I was a school teacher, I was doing okay. I didn't turn pro straight out of school or anything like that, because a lot of my friends did, and I'm like, no, I just want to have this. If being a golf person doesn't work, I've got this other avenue. That's me. Some people perform much better. Like Annie turned pro really early. I think you turned pro really early, but you went to college and everything. But it's like I'm off to the tour. So I think you just got to know who you are, and how hard is that to do when you're a young age. But at our ages, we know who we are, so we've got to play the game of golf that suits us. And my biggest thing, and I said to some of you today, is we will all, and I'm now giving you my view, which may not be right, but I'm giving you my view. And there is some research that says in golf, people perform better if there is less tension in their bodies, which kind of stands. So it depends what causes this tension. Some people go, I really love to beat this person. So it's not really tension, it's a competitive spirit. But if you're someone who goes, I perform better if I don't really care what happens, I don't know, that's my view, I think. And I can't tell you who you are, Annie can't, but you need to know who you are when you're playing golf. And to understand, why do we play this most magnificent game? Why are we playing it? And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Don't you agree,
Yeah.
Annie? Why do we play this amazing game of golf? What satisfaction?
Keep
it in perspective.
You're out there in a glorious
why do we do it?
situation.
Like our friends, the competitive part,
Smell the roses.
the smell of roses.
We don't, do we? We get so bogged down in our, I'm not playing as well as I want to, and damn it, and I practiced, I should be playing better, and rather than, stopping and enjoying the scenery and being grateful. Grateful's a good
You know
word.
what we should do? Have we got everyone's email? But if you send it to us, we have this table of stats that says, Michelle, I think you and Annalise have, Amanda, you have it as well. It's like, what should I be getting where my handicap is? Like people say, I want to do this and this. It kind of lets you know, hey, I'm doing much better at the level I'm at than I think. That takes the stress off.
I think we should finish up too with
Questions?
yes, but you know that old saying where they talk about don't think of a pink elephant, and everyone thinks of a pink elephant. Our brains don't do negative, we only do positive. So that applies really well to the water and the bunker, and if you're standing over your shot and you're going, I don't want to go in that, I don't want to do that, that you've really got to think about where you do want the ball to go and not where you don't want the ball to go. So that's a really important tip. If you took one tip away, I think that's the one. Think what you do want to do with the ball, and if in your mind you're
You got my phone. I thought it was my wine.
if you see in your mind's eye the ball lofting and running to exactly where you want it to be, that sends that message that you were talking about to your body, where you suddenly feel good, and then you can execute that shot. It's like a pre-rehearsal in your mind. But if you're seeing the ball go in the water and that's probably where you're going to go, isn't it? So if you can get that positive thinking, the visualization of the shot that you want before you play it, doesn't matter which shot it is, that's going to help you mentally massively.
And when you're going well, like confidence is so much. You're playing well, keep playing well. If you're playing badly, you try hard, you go worse.
Yeah, try less. Yeah, try less. I think there's a wonderful word in golf that we probably don't all take on board. Let's see what you think my word in golf is. Our word in golf. What's a key word in golf? If you're going to use a word, what would it be? Just throw them at us. Some to help you play better. What could it be? Confidence.
Positivity.
Positivity. Optimism.
Yep.
Anything else?
Visualizing.
Visualizing. Fantastic.
Tenacity.
Oh, very good.
Hope.
Hope is good. Anyone else? Come on.
When I play tennis and the girls that I play with, we always go out and we always say the same thing. Okay, let's have a good game, but the 2 F's. Focus and fun.
Good. Focus, fun. How many great words have we got? I'm going to give you all an A+ who said something. Here's another word. It's only my word, so it might be worth something, it might not be worth something. Acceptance.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
So do what you can and what you have control of. Go through the process or the system. Whatever happens, you did all you could do. Accept. Move on. Thank God I'm here. Accept. Move on.
Yeah. If you're still grumpy about that shot you had 3 holes ago, it's gonna, isn't it?
Yeah.
And by the same token, if you're thinking about the hole that comes up in 3 holes time that you hate, that you always hit in the water, stay here, and accept whatever you get and play 1 shot at a time.
Do we have any questions? We would like you to say this is a really good session.
It's not a question, it's just a comment.
Yes.
Because I had a really good game the other day, which was pretty funny, and I was going really well, and I got to the 14th, and I wasn't. Then I just did stupid things because I knew with my score, it's showing me, it's in front of me, telling me what my statement was.
Oh, hope that.
So I could not see that I was going well, and then I blew 2 holes.
But again, that's the same thing as all the other distractions. Learning to put that out of your mind. 1 shot, this shot right here, I'm going to play. That's the only thing I'm thinking of.
How do you do that?
Nothing happens instantly. You've got to practice it. It's like every part of the game. Practice the good.
So do you have a
focusing
tool, Annie, that
techniques.
would give that? Do you have a tool?
Go through your routine. Go through your process. That's Have you got a routine? Has everyone got a routine
Huge
before
key.
they play every?
Did you hear
every
that?
shot?
What Annie just told you is priceless. Priceless.
Routine calms you, gets you into the moment, gets you away from distraction, starts to focus you on that shot there. Yeah. So you go through that same process each time. It makes you feel more
And it's
relaxed.
that's brilliant. That is priceless. So between us, you're listening to $10 million worth of.
All right, we'll let you have your dinner. Thanks for listening.